Please, Haruto, don't leave me. I'm sorry, but I can't. My parents are apart, and I have to go, yet I promise to marry you when I become an adult. Okay, I'll also marry you. This was how Miharu and Haruto were separated. Now, years have passed, and our little boy has become a young adult. He thought he had worked hard to get admission into the school. Because he wanted to marry Miharu, he suddenly saw her, and she was stunning. He thought to talk with her, but suddenly a boy named Senda came to her and started talking. And a girl named Satsuki also went to her, and they left the school. They started walking and met with Aki and Masato. They started talking about the party for their admissions, and suddenly a magical circle appeared in Satsuki and Sendu disappeared. Now Miharu, Aki, and Masato also disappeared. Ryo, Celia, and Aisha were watching 7 light pillars. On the other side, Miharu, Aki, and Masato were speechless at where they were, and Miharu tried to check her location. But suddenly a giant man appeared, she screamed, and Ryo was looking for them on the other side and Aisha was helping him. He reached the destination and didn't find them. Suddenly he saw something sparkly, Miharu's phone. Ryo was worried and the giant man threw Masato and Aki into the cage. Miharu tried to request them, but they didn't understand what she was saying. Because they had a different language and they locked her in a cage too. Suddenly Ryo reached there, and they covered the cages. Their head asked him what he wanted, and Ryo told them that he was looking for his friends, but the mater denied it and said he didn't know about any person he was asking. Ryo also found it wise to go because there were a lot of assailants, but suddenly someone screamed for help and Ryo asked to check. But the master tried to refuse, and they got aggressive. Suddenly the fight started, and everyone was trying to kill our man. But Ryo was fighting like a pro because he had fighting experience, his magic skills were not less, and they were shocked to see Ryo's magic. His master failed and accepted his defeat and Ryo freed Masato and Aki, but Miharu was still not, so Masato pointed to the carriage and the master tried to open it, but Ryo used his magic to open the gate. He freed Miharu and they were shocked to see each other. He started walking and they followed him. Suddenly they saw the amazing view. She stopped him and asked about what happened with them and for his surname, but he didn't tell them his surname but only Haruto. Ryo recognized everyone but didn't tell them that he knew them and asked to find a shelter for them. Suddenly he did his magic and pulled a rock, but it was a house, and suddenly Aisha and Celia also came. Celia hugged him and asked about his health, and he was fine. She asked about the guests and tried to talk, but Miharu didn't understand his language. Celia also didn't understand her language, but suddenly Aisha came forward and kissed Celia, and then Miharu and Ryo were in doubt. But Aisha told him that he knew Miharu's language so she could cast her magic to help Celia and Miharu. Now he told them to come inside, and it was an amazing house from the inside. The girls started taking baths and Miharu asked about Ryo and Celia started telling her how they met first time. Miharu and Aki also came to know that Aisha was a spirit of Ryo. On the other side, Ryo was telling Masato about their reincarnation. Ryo said it was like a game, but unlike the game, they can't reset it or get to their world. Suddenly the girls came, and Celia showed her new pajamas given by Aki and she was very happy. Ryo appreciated that and said they could buy new clothes tomorrow from the market, and Celia asked about the market. Ryo also told them not to be worried about the money and asked them to sit for dinner. Now they sat, and Miharu asked what happened to them. Ryo started telling them that he thought they might be reincarnated due to some summon spell because the 6 magical light pillars had appeared. Celia felt that they were the heroes according to wise prediction, the 6 who saved mankind from evils that transferred their powers to 6 stones. Now the 6 heroes had to appear with those powers and Celia thought they were the heroes. Still, Ryo believed that nothing had to do anything with that. Suddenly Miharu told them about Satsuki and Sendu because they were also reincarnated, but Ryo had nothing about them. Miharu was worried because she didn't know if they were also rescued or not by someone like Ryo. Suddenly Aisha stood up because she was sleepy and wanted to sleep with him. Everyone was shocked, but our man had an explanation for that. But Celia said he had not taken the bath, and Miharu was ready to clean the table. Now our man started telling them that Aisha was a spirit who lived on mana, and he shared his mana with her. Whenever she had to sleep, he'd be with her because she absorbs mana, so she was able to conduct a path for their language issue. Suddenly Aisha stood up because she felt a strong mana in Miharu and went to her. Now he said Aisha and Miharu could sleep together. So, he started showing them their rooms and they went to their rooms. Celia also went to her room and our man went to his room. Our man in his room was thinking what we all think, but he was thinking about his past when he accidentally died in the real world and was reincarnated in this world. But now he had a dark past and couldn't share his reality with Miharu. Suddenly someone knocked and when he checked, she was Celia. She entered and they sat and started talking. She had several questions for him, but he started by saying to her that when she had bought him, he already knew about his past life. when he was 20 and died, but, in this world, he was a child when she found him, and she was happy that she was younger than him, but now our man was 16. She was very happy now because they were spending quality time together because no one was disturbing them. She was worried for her father and wished to at least tell him that she was safe, and he said they could send a letter tomorrow. She was happy about that. On the other side, Charles was talking with Rice about Celia and her kidnapping. She was kidnapped on the day of her wedding, and Rice thought that it was a quick move by Rio that had disappeared in no time. Charles was also searching for them but had found no trace of them because Rio was a clever man and didn't want to get caught. Rice thought and complimented Rio's move a good one. Sakata was eating food, and he flirted with the helper and asked her to sit. The king was impressed with his kindness and Flora was also there. Sakata thought that he was using his tab at home when he was summoned to the garden and met Flora there. She called him a hero with a sword, and Sakata went out of his pants and started overacting. Now he thought that he could fool them and could go home back and ask Flora about the jewel that summoned him. He said it was a kidnapping, and they had to return him with that jewel, but she didn't know much about it, and he insulted her. Her guard tried to shut him up, but her knight stopped him, and he talked with Sakata. He told him that he was there to help them. Why not look at their condition and then decide? Sakata agreed. On the other side, Rio and everyone were ready for shopping. Miharu told Masato and Aki to take care of each other, and Rio said he had cast magic around the house, so they had to stay inside. Aisha grabbed Celia to fly, and Rio had to carry Miharu. He took her and now she started the ride. She was amazed by the view up there, and our man was also enjoying it. They were talking and Celia asked Aisha about Rio. Aisha said she knew him when their contract happened, and Celia asked if they share memories. Aisha said yes, and Celia was jealous. But Aisha said Rio had a great respect for her because Celia was the one who let him to rely on others. Now they reached the city, but he told them to change their hair color to hide their real forms and gave them a necklace. Now he started showing them around and reached the shop. Chloe was their attendant, and he told her to show them good stuff till he just finished his work. Now the girls started the shopping, and our man went to his work. Celia was trying different outfits, and they also forced Miharu. She looked amazing in every outfit, and our man had found nothing but disappointments. He went back, and Miharu was holding undergarments. Our man got shy and tried to give them some more time, but Miharu stopped him and asked to try an outfit because she found it handsome. Everyone also liked it, and he bought it. Chloe also enjoyed helping them, and on the other side Krisha was talking with her helper. Because she had returned and was ashamed of Celia, so asked her helper because she was an old friend of Celia. But she also knew nothing. On the other side, Masato and Aki were very happy to see their new clothes. Now they sat, and Rio started telling them that he had found nothing about Satsuki and Sendu, but the prophecy was true that the heroes had summoned. Aki was worried and he told them to learn the knowledge there before doing anything, and Masato was sad about it. Aisha was hungry and Rio started cooking. Miharu was helping him, and Aki was staring at them. Celia was jealous because he also wanted to cook with him, so she also tried, and now the food was ready. Now Rio was leaving, and our kids promised him that they'd learn the language till he was back. Now Rio had reached into the spirit forest. He thought that it was a long time since he came here, and suddenly Latifa came to him with joy. Alma, Sarah, and Dryas also came and welcomed him. They were excited, but he said he wanted to meet with the elders. Now he went to them and started talking about the mana coming from the 6 light pillars and the rumors about the 6 heroes. The elders were listening to him and asked if the heroes were from another world, and he said yes. They asked how he knew, and he told them about Miharu and others, but he also told them that he knew their language because he was also from the same world. But they were not the heroes, and hesitantly asked to shelter them because he wanted to protect Miharu and her companions. He said he wanted to return them to their worlds and couldn't move freely when he was worried about them, and he also told them about Celia and how he saved her from the forced wedding. They agreed to shelter them, but they had to hide the presence of this garden after going to the city, and Rio promised that. He decided to depart tomorrow, and at night Latifa came to him and they started talking. He asked if she understood what he had said. She said yes because she had already known about his previous life because he had shared it with her. But she was a bit jealous, and he laughed at her because she was funny, and she also knew about his crush on Miharu. But our man said he had met with Miharu for only 3 years when they were children, but now, he doesn't think if she remembers him or not. So, she also doesn't have to tell anybody about it, and she asks about his true feelings that he was hiding. He said he'd talk with her one day but not now because it wasn't the time, and she was annoyed. Hope you liked till now. If you want to watch more, then subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.